Hello guys, thank you again for listening. I'm going to go shortly over a dream that I had. This was actually a while ago. I didn't write the date on this, but I did write it down. A while ago that I dreamt that I was on my bike and I was going, and I was preaching in the streets of an upscale neighborhood. I came to a very nice neighborhood, very big houses and big beautiful houses everywhere. That I turned around and looked. The lawns were neatly kept, the trees were trimmed, and all of this. So I stopped right there in the middle of one of the intersections because there weren't any cars anywhere that I could see that were coming or going. So I stopped right there in the middle of the intersection, and I began to preach. I had the Bible in my hand, and I began to preach. And suddenly, as soon as I began, I was surrounded by dogs. All of these dogs were all purebred. There were no mutts in this group, and they began to bark very loudly, and they began to snap at me as if they wanted to bite me and tear me into pieces. They were actually pretty furious, these animals, at my presence in that area. At that time, a man came out of this huge, beautiful house that was nicely decorated and well kept and everything on the outside. This man, he was very overweight. His hair was unkempt. His clothing was dirty, and it was obviously that he had not shaved for quite a few days. He looked like he had just woke up, and this man began to yell at me, but I couldn't understand what he was saying because, of course, of the noise of the dogs. And at that point, after I have these kind of dreams, I usually wake up and for a short period of time, and then I'm able to to meditate on the significance of this and pray about what it means. And as I thought about this, I think it's obvious that Jesus Christ said, do not throw your pearls before swine. Do not give what is holy to dogs. They will attack you. The dogs in the dream, of course, represent followers of false doctrines and false gospels, and specifically the people that follow the prosperity gospel, which I believe very soon will suffer a rude awakening as to the truth of the prosperity gospel, which is absolutely no truth at all. And this would be why there were no mutts in the group, because of the mentality of people that follow the prosperity gospel. As I said, these were followers of false doctrines. The neighborhood, of course, would be very, very well maintained, very beautiful, as specifically in this isn't just in America now, because they've exported their brand of Christianity all over the world. These mega churches, these buildings that are very, very well maintained and very clean and very pretty and whatnot, and they look nice on the outside, but on the inside, of course, the Word of God is being disregarded and literally, just destroyed by the way that these people preach, the way that they live, and the doctrines that they adhere to that are false. The dogs, obviously, they began to attack me because I was bringing a true message from the Word of God. And of course, with this dream, and I did not write specifically down what I had been preaching, but anyone who is familiar with the messages that I've put on YouTube before knows that I'm far from a prosperity teacher. They began to bark at me, of course, trying to shut me up, and try to bite me in a way to somehow wound me and get me to stop preaching what I was preaching. The man who came out of the house, represents the house, of course, represents a mega church, as I said. It's very big, very beautiful, very well maintained physically. Spiritually, of course, it's disgusting. and this is where the physical aspect of this man would come into play. You know, he was obviously lazy because he's very overweight. His hair was unkempt. He had not shaved. His clothing was dirty. He looked like he had just woke up, and this was in the afternoon. I could tell, you know, in the time of day that I was preaching this message, it was in the afternoon when I was walking through in this neighborhood on my bike. And so that, as I said, I don't remember when I had this dream. It was sometime last year, and I mean, I really think that there's a significance in that. I have had several dreams like this, and I continue to have them, of things that either confirm what I'm preaching or show me something else that I had either not thought of or need to learn. And you know, so thank you again for listening. This is one of my shorter recordings, and God bless you guys. Goodbye.